What's going on, guys? So, this is a really big cannon, that is a really big Gundam, and that is a really big box. This is going to be a really big Master Grade Monday. Well, we better get to it because it's going to be a long one. Alright, guys, so on this Master Grade Monday, we're taking a look at one of the largest boxes I've had to deal with in quite some time. In fact, this box review is going to be absurd. So it is the, well, actually, you can't technically read it. It's the Gundam Virtue Style Being Mobile Suit. I don't know if you guys can see my finger. It's a 0005, so there's that. We have a buttload of lightning, a ton of particles happening everywhere. Big old pink blast going on there. You got a Curios over there. Can't really actually see it because my buttons are technically in the way. We have a don't look at that right now. It's Virtue. We're talking about Virtue. Got a big old MG 00 logo up there, and Bandai logo down there. So this was one that, well, I knew I needed for this double October. I just wasn't sure exactly how I was going to get it because the first run of it came out and then disappeared. And then ultimately, Gundam Kingdom here in Houston got it in, and I secured one and actually had it shipped to me because it was cheaper at that time to ship it rather than drive all the way down there and spend an afternoon trying to pick it up. What? Oops, sorry about that. Got a really weird notification. Okay, so yeah, so I didn't want to drive all the way down there to pick this one up, and shipping everywhere else was going to be ridiculous, and I know I could get it within a day or so of ordering it. So shout out to Gundam Kingdom. Now, because this is such a big box, I'm going to have to really stretch to do the box review, and well, here we go. Obligatory rear and front view of Gundam Virtue there. And then it's all exploding. Detaching mechanism. Shh, shh, shh. Don't show that. And then you got whatever that says. And then we got code. What? What does it mean? Okay. Oh, cord. That's a typo. Hold on. There's stuff in English. Give me a second. I have to hold the box so I can see these things. Gundam Virtue, a heavily armed mobile suit from Mobile Suit Gundam 00. Its intense firepower and one of the 4 Gundam belonging to Celestial Being now appear in MG form. Correct. Various sections of the armor throughout the body can be attached or removed to recreate both Virtue and Natalie. Details have been added to the back of the armor parts, resulting in robust designs or dents in design. Seriously, I'm trying to read. The main frame used to construct the body, the parts for the Natalie, and the parts for Virtue form a 3-layer structure to create intricate and detailed design unique to this MG recreation. It's technically true. Now, that says code. This says cord. So, iconic cord. Natalie's head, because all the multi-layered structure recreates the appearance of the cords in their dense design. You didn't see anything. GN cable. Resin parts applied with holographic finish have been used for the 4 GN cables throughout. Used for the GN cables throughout the mobile suit. Jeez. I swear I can read, just not today. I literally don't have room to turn this around. So I'm just... There's a side there. Let's go to the final side, okay? So we gotta get through this. Okay. Good lord. The GN Bazooka. GN Bazooka can be expanded to recreate its burst mode. That's true. GN Field. Various hatches can slide to recreate the expanded states. Okay. Okay. Neck. Okay. Neck attachment base moves. Interesting. Didn't know that. Okay. Shoulder joints can be widely articulated back and forth at their bases in the chest. Good thing to know. GN cannon. Barrels of the GN cannons can extend. Seriously, I'm doing everything I can to hold the box. Extend to recreate their firing state. Their grips can unfold, allowing the Natalie to equip the weapons as well. Yep. GN beam. There's almost no reason to keep reading this because it's just giving away everything. GN beam rifle. Designated clear effect parts for the Natalie GN beam rifle is included. Excellent. Body. Yep. Front and back swing left and right and roll mechanism allow for natural human-like articulation. Sure. Solar reactor. A 1/100 scale solar reactor is included. That's true. Markings. Do stickers. Figure. You get some tierias. GN-005. You can do that too. All right, moving on. We got polystyrene and evac. Evac is pretty much just the clear stuff. Polybag. Good there. GN Drive, you can do all those things. Plastic model kit, read instruction manual. Don't tell me how to live my life. Box. And sold separately, LED unit green. Use those batteries. All of mine are unfortunately out of commission currently. And then the illustration on the front is by Morishita Naochika, which is, good lord, gorgeous. It's still upside down. Way over there. Like, I'm leaning forward to get this. That is, ridiculous. This thing is longer than my review set is deep. That's how big this stupid box is. And as you can tell, there's some stuff left over. But we don't really need to go over that. All right, let's get at her. Good. Oh, crap. I have to... we're going to be here a minute. Dang it. All right, guys, so here is Virtue in all of its thickness. And I will say, this thing suffers from the same problems that all of its siblings do. Even its oldest sibling, all the way back to Exia, still deals with the exact same problem of the really dumb feet design. Even though this is the new GN frame design, the one they developed for Dynamis and Up. But because they hinge the feet the way they do, he tends to want to either fall forward or lean back on his very small heels to the point that he is very wobbly. Now you can just choose to shove the toes back down, but then the next time you pose them, it'll fall over. I guarantee you, it's going to fall over more than twice throughout this review, especially once we get it stripped down. It's definitely going to fall many times over. So as it goes, it's still really cool, and actually was a pretty fun build. Now, I did build this while on vacation, which was definitely a new, well, not really a new experience, a semi-new experience, just because of how big and, well, juicy this one is. So let me come up a little bit, and we'll look at the head, which is chunky. It's a very chunky donkey. Look at that. Huge ass Jay Leno chin, those puffy cheeks. And you do get the side there. So I will point out that the side of the head there with the GN condensers and stuff like that, you can choose which stickers go inside there, whether you want to choose Natalie or Virtue. I chose Virtue, if I remember correctly. But in another place, I did it as Natalie just for the heck of it, just to get a little mix of both. Now, you do get a nice little clear green bit up here in the head as well. He's got the big old V fin, which, harbors a secret. Now, he does have his eyes set way back in there. It's on a ball joint, which can rotate, but the little GN antennas, so the clavicle fins, as they called them, get in the way. But you do get this cool hinge neck up for reasons. I mean, I guess it gets its head to sit up a bit higher, but it looks better if it's down squat like that. Now, I don't know, how am I was going to say for the sake of articulation, I'm going to take the backpack off. So maybe I will, just so you can see what the arms do. So the backpack basically just clips on like it just did, and just sort of snugs on over the back of the GN drive there, which is pretty cool, not gonna lie. Also having two massive cannons powered directly by your GN drive is pretty badass. You do get spots here that I thought were actually where it was going to mount. I don't know why I thought that. I'm a dummy. Okay, so you do get some in and out movement with these, like you can pull them out on a rocker, and then you can get, a bit more movement. That might actually be a little more helpful in a later situation. We'll see. So that's nice, but you also need that for reasons. For the shoulders, very tight, but can go all the way around, and they can come up, and then utilize the bicep along with the double jointed elbow, and we attempt to get a high teacher. Try. MG high teachers are a little difficult. The armor here actually has this little bit that folds in to give you, hopefully, a little bit more elbow room if you can. Hopefully. You can get an okay run. Sorry, popping that off. You get barely over 90 out of the elbow, and you do get the cool holographic bit on the back of the elbow, just like all of the other, what are they, Gen 3 Gundams at this point. And I guess earlier ones too, but at this point, we're just looking at the Gen 3s. Yeah, okay, straighten all that up. The chest, you get yellow vents going on there, and then this can raise up, and you can open the cockpit hatch, and if we were to zoom in with some actual light, there's a tiny little Tyria Erda in there. Oh, maybe it was the chest. So the chest I went with, so the chest I went with Virtue, and I think up here I went with Natalie. Kind of hard to see. It is very, very tiny text. Now, it did talk about being able to rock side to side. I mean, maybe. I mean, everything's a bit tight, so maybe it'll do it for Natalie, but it's not really wanting to do anything for Virtue, if we're honest here. The hands are ball joint, or just a socket there, and then you do get a hinge there. No articulated fingers, but you get the ball joint mounted thumb. And I will say, I hate these hands. These are the type of hands where you pop the fingers out and replace with the fingers that you want, and then you just hope for the best when it comes to holding on to weapons. And when it comes to the weapons for this big guy, well, you'll see. Okay, let's see. Does he have ab crunch? Not exactly. I know it's there. I know it's actually engineered, but I think this giant butt is in the way. By the way, they give you a nice little holographic piece right inside there. I also recall that this is a big old sticker on the HG. Love the huge GN thrusters there. Every little thing that you would normally paint on an HG is decked out with color separation on this thing, and I love that. Even these things swing out a little, whatever the heck they technically are. You do get hip skirts, which are fine, but this one seems to be insanely loose, and I don't know why. So there's that. The hips can get out to there effectively on the Virtue side. I'm going to zoom out a little. And bring it back down. And with the huge chunky leg armor, you can get a little over 90-degree crunch, even though you do have some good knee bend and actuation here. And oh yeah, he does have the swing down hips. I forgot about that. So you can do the swing down hips and really get a little bit more knee bend. I'm trying to see here. He does have a joint here, but I can't seem to utilize much of it. Maybe that is the one that's being utilized. Huh. Okay. So you do get the holographic bit there, and while we're on this particular point of action, he does have beam sabers hidden right there. Without tweezers, I mean, good luck getting that out of there, at least in Virtue form. So that's pretty cool. Oh, by the way, it does have the GN condensers in the arms. I do love that. It's a cute little thing. If we come down to the feet, you get an ankle rocker, or actually just ankle forward and back, then a rocker side to side, and then the toe tilt that I spoke of already, which you can see here. Normally the way the foot wants to function is basically like this. It doesn't want to stay. And you get this front little foot armor. And it is a tight joint because there's no polycaps at all. Everything is normal styrene on styrene, which means some point, you're just going to end up knocking something off, which like I just did with the face there without meaning to. All right, so let's add the backpack back on just for now. I mean, it's just going to come off eventually, right? So put that on there. And the arms do articulate quite a bit, which is good, even forward and back. And you get the rotation joint so that you can get the over-the-shoulder cannons. And if you reach up under there, find the little slidey-doos, you can push them out. I will say, make sure you clean them effectively when you're building them. It'll probably slide better. I think this one I didn't necessarily clean the nubs as good as I should have. I just figured it was going to be not visible, so why bother until it didn't want to slide right. So he can do the over-the-shoulder cannon firing, which is fantastic for how it goes. Once again, trying to balance the feet. It's like once you start messing with it, it's going to start getting bad. Stay. And even though, I mentioned the hands, so I might as well look at the hands. So you do get expressive fingers, both left and right, so you can have open hands. You do get the fists that are on there. You get, I gotta make, where's the other one? Oh, crap. Oh, it's already on there. That's right. All right, so you get a left and right holding hand with the tabs in there. So these are mostly made for the beam sabers, but I think they're also kind of made for one of Natalie's things. By the way, you do get crotch peg thing. It does look like it slides and locks into place, so that's good. And you do get trigger finger hands, which you will need for its weapons. Which also, before we go too far, I want to show off the first time we've gotten a solar reactor. So not just a GN drive, but the actual solar reactor itself. By the way, I'm going to brighten this up. I realize it's a little dark. So solar reactor is pretty cool. Didn't realize what it was at first when I was building. So what is this thing? And then it just looks like that. And you can store that inside in place of the regular GN drive, but I've got the whole GN drive in there just because. Basically, you take the back half off, you leave the you take the rear end of it, and then you just plug this in front of it. It doesn't secure or anything, so it just is what it is. So, by the way, sorry, always forget to point these out. You get the beam sabers because you do get the handles, you do get the blades. I don't bother with beam sabers anymore. They're just useless accessories to me, if I'm honest. I don't know about you guys. Half the time I don't even do anything with them. I kind of just throw them away. All right, so let's talk about the big gun in a very literal sense. I always call it the killer whale cannon because for some reason it looks like a killer whale to me. I don't know why. So you got the dark blue, sort of. You got the white on the bottom. You got some yellow inside the cannon there. You do have a green camera thing there. Why they didn't give you like a metallic sticker to go under it, I have no idea. Like to make it look good, which is silly. You do get a moving handle, so if you want them to kind of just hold it like that, I think you can make it work effectively with one of these hands. I could be wrong. But for the most part, when he's just in normal cannon mode like this, take your hand over here, pop your fingers out like you do. And I've already got the trigger finger hand on here, which you may as well glue it because I'll say this. If there's a stance that you love for this thing, glue it. Because we'll probably see my frustration skyrocket throughout this review as it comes to this particular weapon and its hands that hold it. Okay, so it does have a groove inside the handle, and you just want to line that up and plug it in like so. Okay, we're doing good. I'm going to tap that down, and if we come around to the inside, we want to, well, I wanted to flip the thumb up, but now I don't think I can. Okay, up, get in there. Okay, so he's now holding his cannon one-handed. So this is normal, just carry around your cannon mode. Let's go ahead and put these away. Flip them down for now. So just he looks cool. I'm just chilling. He's just chilling. I'm just Virtue, just hanging out. It's been a good day. I don't have to use my big gun yet. But one thing is, it does weigh a lot, considering it's solid plastic. This is on its own hinge. You can kind of lock the handle in there. And if you reposition the wrist in a certain way, it may or may not hold it specifically straight, like so. Now, this part here actually should be slid all the way forward, but it's actually not super important for this mode. Now, one thing that is going to happen is that will drift and drop over time. It just will. Now, while I'm here, before I get into attempting to two-hand the gun for burst mode, I'm going to open up the GN field emitters on the side of the leg pods and the other thing. Now, I haven't found a good way to do this, so you have to basically just push this out or pull it out like so, and then this just I'll plug back in. Now, in theory, you should be able to do this while it's on there, but not always. So that one was loose enough to pop out, even though I feel like it's not out enough. There we go. And let's see if we can do this one. Okay, that one came out okay. It was just the leg ones that are wonky, and the arm ones are fine. I think this might be the really tight one, because one of them was really super tight when I put it together. Okay, so that's not as bad as I thought it would be. So it does feel like they should come out a bit more, but you know what? I'm going to live with it, because I think that's good enough. So that's him releasing his GN field, which he kind of does anyways. And you do want to make sure you get that all the way plugged in, because that is actually holding the leg armor together. Just a little funny. So there we go. GN fields emitters, not the best, but pretty good. Feels like, so it's got like a pivot point in the middle, but it feels like it should come out like another notch. And I don't like pulling on it because it doesn't feel like it's going to come out without completely coming apart. So I think that's about as good as you get, honestly. You sort of see the vents inside. Let me see on the box here. I don't have the instructions out at the moment. Let's see if they come out further than that. Yes and no. Honestly, it looks like it should come out a little bit more, but I'm not gonna pull shit. I'm not gonna pull shit as it goes. So there's the GN field. Let's go ahead and shut that down. And see, that was actually coming apart there because I pulled on it too hard. So that's what happens. Okay, so now we do the thing that I dread. So we're gonna pull the handle out of the base, like you do. We're gonna take this handle. We're gonna pull it out of there. Grab the other trigger hand and apply it as such. There you go. Go ahead and yoink the fingers out. And go ahead and get your thumb out of the way. And insert. Affix thumb proper. Now, this is my nightmare. So what we have to do here is kind of get his arms at a 90+ degree angle, like so. And these handles need to essentially pop these out to the best. That's one. And I'm going to flip up that. Now, I actually open up the cockpit thingies there for support. You don't need to, but I do. Okay, so our gun. I'm going to go ahead and put it in burst mode. So we're going to grab the bottom white part and yoink it down at an angle until it pops into place, like so. And then the yellow, there's just a slight ridge here. Hook your finger, Pull that out. Hook your finger. Pull that all the way out. And now what we're going to attempt to do, I stress this, is plug these onto those and not have it come apart 7 times. And attempt to get it lined up. So we also need to pull this back about as far as we can. And we want to line these up. And it's almost like you want to get one into place and then work on the other. So like that one we got without too much fuss. And now we got to get this one, which is probably where all the fuss is going to happen. Oh, yep, fuss, damn it. Okay, so connect, so okay, please, oh, you son of a bitch. Okay, so one, please don't pop off the other side while I get this side on. Okay, so I got it in that hand. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is cut, clean it up a little bit, and then come back. And through a tiny bit of editing magic, just in case things got screwy when I was putting this thing in its full burst mode. Yeah, there we go. It's complete and lined up very nicely. And his hands are holding it, although I'm fairly certain, even though because of YouTube time travel, I'm fairly certain I struggled greatly with this to get it in his hands and balanced properly. And you can just kind of mess with the handle up a little bit if you want to. Now, when I first built it, which was just a day and a half ago, I had the hardest time just getting the cannon balanced, like actually getting it straight out, kind of plugged into the GN drive like it's supposed to be, you know, quote unquote plugged in, and balance between the hands and even getting the elbows to articulate correctly. But you can see all the stuff inside. You can see the slide a little bit. In reality, it's supposed to be all the way forward, which doesn't work. You can't have it all the way forward and set all the way back and thing. When I mean all the way forward in the groove here, this part, you know, slides back and forth as I showed you. But, you know, it is what it is. I do like that the yellow bits do slide out, which is cool. And there is a really cool effects part and LED kit for this to make it look badass. Unfortunately, I didn't know of that thing's existence in time to have picked one up. So if by chance it ever comes out again, and I'm pretty sure it's like a third-party deal, I'll definitely get it. I kind of wish they had added some kind of light to the inside of the barrel there. It would have looked badass lighting up. Because even like when you have a proper LED, oh wow, hold on, that's good. That would be a really good thumbnail. Let me see here. Get that one just in case. But even with the regular LED, you know, you're only lighting up the chest. You don't even light up the head. You don't have to light up the legs or the arms or anything else. So, you know, it does come a little bit boring, technically speaking. So, I mean, that's essentially it for this with its weapons, or weapon, kind of, you know. After this, you know, there's only really one other thing to do. I mean, after this commercial break. Okay. So before we go too far, I might as well do all of our comparisons here. And bring in all of the rest of the Gundams. So there's Curios. Here's Exia, that we just did. And let's scooch this guy over. I'm trying to make room for everybody here, because they do get pretty damn big. And last, but certainly not least, also the one I'm not sure is going to stand effectively, Dynamis. His best friend in the world. After a while, anyways. Took a minute, but Tyria really learned to like lock on. Sorry, still thinking about vacation time. Okay. And yes, I know he's not holding his gun. I was getting ready for something else. Is what it is. First time, all 4 MG first season Gundams in one place, all built together. That's why I needed to redo Exia this year, because it only made sense. There's no reason to try to throw in my old crappy Exia into this mix. And as it goes, definitely the one with the most work. It's kind of a pain. That one's more of a pain to stand and get to position. That one's kind of a pain to transform, and Exia just, well, it's old in comparison. But all right, let's move on to the secret thing. The secret thing, as it is. And yes, the secret is that it comes with both the male and not exactly male version of Tyria. Why? Because we always have to reference that one time he was definitely a chick. I know, Innovatos are kind of fluid, sort of, but not really. No, there's an explanation, but there isn't. I don't know. I didn't bother to paint them because I don't have the right colors. So, but if you have the ability to paint miniatures and stuff like that, I assure you, you will probably do this. Wow, did you like the nice drifting that the focus was doing? Okay, so let's move on to the real thing. And let's strip down our virtue. So first off, let's just go ahead and yoink the backpack again while we're at it. And once again, while we're at it, let's go ahead and pull these off carefully, because you don't want to wear out too much plastic and end up with a looser peg than you had. So one problem with doing it with plastic is that you will eventually wear these out the more you mess with them. So the cannons will still exist. In fact, if you open it up like that, that's how you get the handle version, which is pretty cool. I'm not keen on this blue, but I guess it is what it is. The only thing that sucked is Natalie couldn't use the GN field to the same degree. Ooh, what is happening here? That is not sticking out as far as it should. That should be much further out. Oh, that's in backwards. Oh, dang it. Hold on, gotta fix. Okay, fixed that. Caused some other problems while I was at it, but I got it fixed. That would explain why that gap was strange, but there we go. I still can't figure out why that doesn't pull out as far as it feels it needs to. All right, so I've never done the transformation in reverse, so this will be interesting for me. I say transformation, I mean deconstruction. So pull the legs off, pull the leg emitters off, like you do. And I think we're just going to pull the front off, pull the back off, flip that down, front off, back off. And just so we're clear, let's just build up our armor, so to speak. And a few years ago, when we did the 1/100 version that wasn't, my own, it didn't feel anywhere near this easy, to do the conversion. So there's our legs, just get them out of the way. Okay, so the feet, heels, just want to pull straight back, like so. The toes, you want to pull straight forward, like so. And get these little witty bitty feet like that. I'll set those aside for a nice little image. Will these stand? Oh yeah, they will. Cool. Now he just looks like he's got a life jacket and floaties on. All right, so we can grab the front, pull it straight forward, set that there, come to the back, pull it straight back. So that's there. That goes there. Pull this little gray piece, like so. And then I want to pull these open. I think that'll give us enough room to get this off, but I'm not sure. Let's see here. Nope, not yet. Oh yeah, because we still got to get past the back here. Okay, so go to the arms. Just pull up on the front, pull back on the back. Go ahead and re-tab those together. Come to the other one, same thing. And the big tab is just going into the energy feed area of the forearm. So once again, it's just getting skinnier. Okay, okay, so I can't do anything with that just yet. Shoulders, want to pull up on this part. Well, didn't expect that, but you know, because you piece it together to put it on. I can't believe it just popped right off. Does that make sense? So you could just pull off the shoulder armor. Why not? Sure. Not how it went on, but I'm okay if that's how it came off. All right. So this part, I believe, just slides right out. Set that down there. And then I want to grab front and back. Even though I said that backwards, I did it right. Front and back. Like so. Oops, just knocked off a piece. I mean, it's supposed to come off, but didn't mean to knock it off. So, little white piece has to come off. So, pull that off. Come to the back. Pull off this gray piece, which is tabbed in ridiculously well. Don't pull off the white piece, because that's part of your actual backpack. And then now, we should be able to separate this, which we're going to come up here. And for easy storage sake, go ahead and plug this back in, like so. And the butt skirt plug in on the other side. Go ahead and fix that. Do this here. We'll grab the top of the head, yoink that off. Grab the back of the head, pull that off, along with this gray piece, because we're going to need that off here in a second. Come up front, pull the entire front faceplate off, and accidentally hit the V-fin so that it goes flying. Okay. Oh, and well, here we have a really bare Natalie, but because that's not how Natalie looks, we have the hair, as it were. Let me pull all the pieces here. So the back of the head, I'll swing this around, come back here, and plug this right in there. Grab your gray piece and plug it back in where it was before. Hopefully it'll go easily, like so. And that, well, I didn't get that up where it needed to be. My bad. Because it's supposed to hinge slightly. I didn't get that up in there. I think I got it though. Nope, not quite. There it goes. Okay. So you gotta make sure it snaps up in there, or else it don't count. Now, push that back in. Come back to the front. And grab this guy here. And it will slot into the neck back there. Ever so carefully. Okay. Grab its counterpart. Go into this side. Like so. And then you've got left and right ones here that I believe, I know they're the face, but I don't remember which way they go. think I got that backwards, yeah. Oh yeah, went in better that way. Okay, so we'll go with the other side. Which doesn't want to go. Which, to be fair, if you're having hair shoved into your face, you'd probably fight a little bit too. All right, so there we go. Now we have Natalie totally done and looking really cool. I'm gonna take another break real quick. So for quick comparison, there's Natalie next to Exia, and you'll see they are roughly actually the same size. Like Exia's maybe got a tiny bit on it, but not by much. But you can tell they're roughly the same design, all that kind of jazz, but very stripped down, low armor Gundam, which is the point. Now, what would be cool is if they gave Natalie like some kind of effect part that could simulate like the trial system. That'd be pretty cool. But as you go, you get the hair coming back here behind the head. I say hair because it's pretty much what we all accept that it is. It's hair. And oh yeah, I keep forgetting to push that back down for the knee. So yeah. Now let's see if the articulation's any better in this mode. So you can get the arm up that high, which does seem higher. This armature can flip flop. Does it have the so-called tilt? Yes, it does. Okay. So when the armor is on, you're definitely not getting that. Does it have ab crunch? It does. Does it have waist rotation? It does. Just watch out for that side skirt or side armor. You don't want to pop that off. So you gain that articulation back. Speaking of which, oh, hey, can kick that far forward. Let's see how far that knee bends now. So without all that armor, you get that much freaking articulation. And look at this big chunky knee piece too. That is great. And by the way, this is a triple knee joint. Joint here, joint here, joint there. Always love that. That is one really cool thing about these. And you can access the beam sabers a little bit easier, but it's still not the easiest thing in the world. They even have that little kind of textured tab there to help you. And I still can't get it out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love these little tiny things that pass for ankle guards. It's kind of funny. And once again, because no polycaps, you got to be careful because some of these joints get tight, like especially around the ankles and stuff like that. And you got to balance it, or else it will start fighting you because it's actually stiffer than you think it is. It's a little crazy. So like now, look, he's not balanced anywhere on his actual foot. But if I tilt that ankle that way, it works out a little bit better. So you just gotta see. Look, now it's doing it again. So it's on its heels, not on its toes. So I personally have a hard time freaking balancing these Gundams. They're just kind of ridiculous. So now he wants to fall over backwards. Give him a little lean forward. All right. So let's give him his weapons if we can. So he does have its own shield. This is his equipment for going into battle at the end. So he had a shield, which plugs in the exact same way Exia's does. I believe it's actually the same part as Exia. And it does rotate. It doesn't expand or anything. I do love it, though. It just looks really clean and big. And I remember on the HG, I painted that because I wasn't going to use a big, gigantic, ridiculous sticker to make it happen. So now getting it in proper color separation is nice. Not going to lie. And he does get a beam rifle that also has, that part. Which, once again, they stick nothing behind that to make it stand out. Make sure I get this right. All right, so you can use... I've got just the holding hand on here. I think you can just use the holding hand. I don't think you have to use a trigger hand, if I'm honest. Yeah, so you can just use the holding hand. Get the thumb where you want it. Tuck that in. Plug it in. Flip your thumb down. And plug that into the forearm. Like so. Watch where your wrist is. and it's pretty good, you know. And you can two-hand it if you're so inclined. I'm not going to do that, but it does look very cool. It's pretty neat beam weapon. I think it's very similar to even some of the earlier ones. I think Estrella has one very similar. And you do get a special beam blade for it because it's not just a beam cannon, because nothing is ever just a beam cannon when it comes to a celestial being. So it's also a huge beam blade. So you can slice your enemies to death if you're keen. You know, just kind of, get a nice wide stance here. Bend the knee. Get some toe movement there. Try to pose it where it'll balance. Ankle rocker. Utilize those ankles. That's the best way you're gonna get it. Okay, hold on. There we go. So that looks pretty cool. Not the angle I thought it was on the camera, but there we go. So that works. And let's see here. I have not tried to give it one of these to hold yet. So this will be interesting, I think. All right, let's do it with this arm. Go ahead and drop the shield. Lose these fingers. Go with the holding hand. And it'll slot in like so. This ought to be interesting. Also, always wondered how it could pull. It can't pull a trigger with this. So I don't even understand how this works, you know. Also, how do I push that into the palm? It's like, how am I going to push that into the palm at this point? Like, I did not consider this. Might have to actually yoink the hand out. I think about it. Once again, doing this one for the first time. I've done pretty much everything else, but I had not remembered this until just now. So let's get the hand up in here. And if you can do this without having to take the hand off, I applaud you. Okay, so there we go. Thumb around there. Let's see if we can get it to plug back into the wrist without it popping off. It's not likely. I was right. Okay, so this is why I hate these hands. These hands are so dumb. Like normal, like the Exia hands, also very, very dumb. This might have been better with the trigger hands, if I'm honest. Because there's nothing to stabilize this guy. It's just sort of there, you know? So that is a ridiculous thing. Like, how? Like, I mean, like, if they gave you a peg that they could peg onto the forearm, you know, much like Estrella did or something, I could see it. But this is not happy. You can hold it, just. Now, maybe the trigger hand is better for it. I don't know. Never tried. Literally. Can you guys feel my rage? Just, can you feel the rage? You should be able to feel the rage. It's pretty palpable. Ugh. Had to bend down really far to get that. Okay, then. So let's try a trigger finger. Just for the hell of it. Don't know if that's going to make a difference, but we'll see. Well, considering how loose that is, just in itself. See, this is where you just need other hands. Like, this is why it's stupid to swap the fingers. Like, just give it specific holding hands. Like, there's no reason that you can't just have more hands, more wrists, and just make it happen. Now, that's a little bit better than the previous one, but Still, all of it's too much work. It's just ridiculous considering. So let's just get it up there so we can try to get a shot with it doing the thing. Trying to balance is difficult. Actually, there we go. He's balancing and doing the thing. Too bad I can't get shield and that. But either way, there's that. To the best of its ability. This part just kind of flew out there in the midst of all that. Okay, there, I fixed it. Okay, so at least in this mode, it does not like to be top heavy, and those feet are not doing it any favors. So ultimately, it's great to finally have an MG Virtue / Natalie. It really is. Unfortunately, some of the quote-unquote improvements of the GN frame as it goes don't help it, especially in the Natalie form. The feet, they don't want to do the right thing. They just don't. I would suggest almost always gluing the front toe pivot. Glue it solid. Don't let it move at all. Leave the feet flat. You'll probably be better off just being able to move the foot up and down and side to side. Lose the toes. It'll probably make it easier to balance, if I had to guess. Especially once it's in Virtue mode and you have everything loaded up. The hands are the number one terrible thing about this. I hate them. I hate them so much. I've never liked these style of hands. The fact that Bandai continues to use them, even on fairly new kits, really does suck. It feels like an HG accessory on an MG product. And the fact that they haven't figured out how to make those good, really good 3.0 hands in different sizes to be able to plug into weaponry properly with the tab from the weapon into the hand and the hand into the weapon so that it's always a secure fit. It's just super annoying that they've never bothered to figure that one out for anything outside of the UC, truly. And definitely nothing in 00. The old Exia hands aren't any better with the moving fingers and the barely existing tab in the hand. It's technically not better, but in a way, it's a little bit better than this because any type of leverage or leverage when trying to reposition a weapon just instantly pops the hand itself out, not the weapon from the hand. So you can't even get a grip on anything. If it would just plug into the palm solidly, like just a tab from the weapon solidly into the palm would fix every problem. Then you can put whatever fingers you want on it. I wouldn't even care. Just put a slot in the palm and put a big tab that comes from every handle of every weapon and just goes across. Make life super easy. Or if you're never really gonna change hands, like if you're just gonna always be holding the giant cannon, glue the hand to the cannon and glue the hand into the palm or the fingers into the palm and never fuck with it again. And then just pull the hand off when you're ready to do anything else with it, like just from the wrist. Bandai should have given you just multiple hands with multiple finger attachments for holding different weapons. It would have been smarter than this. And Bandai knows how to do that with their figures. They just can't seem to figure it out with their Gundams, at least not on this scale, which, they figured it out on the PG Exia, which is still pretty similar to this, but I believe those are actually swap out hands, not just fingers, if I remember correctly. Either way, I like this thing. It is very pricey, even on the secondary market. I've seen it going for like $200, which is absurd. Don't pay more than $100 for it if you can. I know different places, different prices. I've seen it as low as $89 sometimes. So make sure you get a deal on it. Don't let people screw you out of it. It did just restock in a lot of places. So if people were trying to hold out and scalp for it, don't let them. Just get the thing and get it done. Now, as it stands right now, this is the last Master Grade Monday, unfortunately, of 00CTOBER. I had something planned, but depending on shipping, we'll just see what happens. Otherwise, I've got other stuff that I still have to accomplish for 00CTOBER, but for now, it's going to be it for this Master Grade Monday and this MG Virtue / Natalie. Hope you have enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, go check out the Discord to go show off your 00CTOBER or your 00 kits and your collections. It'd be fun. And merch will be available eventually. I know. I was on vacation. Didn't get a chance to fix the merch store. Sorry. You can still buy old 00CTOBER merch, just not the current. But I'll see you guys next time. Remember, as always, keep on building.